Since my Draper D20 tool review video, the series of Draper D20, the tool range, there was one tool that I was missing, and I kind of thought, yeah, maybe I need to actually step on this now, because I definitely need a cordless angle grinder, not a small one. My 12-volt one is an absolutely brilliant tool from Parkside, and you've seen that a few times, but this one, I need a bigger one, but one that I can use to actually do some proper grinding or wire brushing underneath without being restricted to a cord. And therefore I could easily work on, let's say, whatever car it is down at the garage, rather than being restricted to using the grinder at the house because mains electricity. That's the beauty of cordless power tools, that you are not restricted by that. It's convenient. Whether or not cordless power tools will probably go the way of the wind, I can't see that, because people are very used to the convenience of just picking up a tool with a battery. The battery is charged, hook it in, and off you go. And it honestly, you'd never go back to cord. Honestly, corded tools, you never go back to them. Yes, okay, I think corded tools will probably last and probably outlive cordless tools, strange enough, because lithium ion, well, we're going to probably run out of that in about 20-30 years. So God knows what is going to replace that to power our batteries if we have that sort of technology. But in the meantime, instead of thinking about the future too much, yes, we have the actual cordless angle grinder, brushless, 115mm from the D20 range. And this is in a slightly tatty box for a very good reason. Not long after making that video, just, you know, I think God must have been watching my video or something. Somebody up there was watching me. And there was basically this grinder, by the way, you can buy it for about £65 for the tool. So I've got the batteries. I think I probably could do with another battery, since the prices of Draper D20 batteries have actually come down in the last few months. Maybe there was a bit of a shortage and the prices went up accordingly, but now the prices have come down on the batteries. So I might get another battery, maybe a 4 amp hour, because I would recommend a big battery for this, maybe a 5 amp hour. They can go up to 4, 5, so there's 2, 3, 4, 5 in the range. I've got 2 2s and 1 4. The 4 will be good enough for this anyway at the moment. I'm not sure how much juice it will suck, but if it gives me about 10 to 15 minutes running, that is good enough for me, and that's probably mostly what I need. But this tool is usually £65 from Draper, and yeah, I managed to see this one on eBay being sold by somebody who bought it, never used it, but wanting to sell it on, and he had it up for £33, including delivery. And I was like, I don't have a lot of money because it's payday in 2 days, but I'm going to pay for this. So I dipped into my overdraft to pay for it, because I knew that if I didn't buy this, I'm going to buy one anyway. I was planning to buy one, as I said, but I had to get it, because otherwise it's either I pay this now or I have to pay £65 later on, or probably even more than that. And that is a bargain. It is brand new. It's just brand new. It's just the bargains you can get on eBay, and sometimes you just literally have to find the money. If you're planning to buy something and you see it for stupidly low price, where someone has bought a tool, never used it, and want to move it on, well, I tell you what, this tool, it's not going to look like this anymore. This is really nice to hold. It's nice and slim. It feels nice in my hand. It doesn't feel bulky or weighty. And obviously, brushless motor, now you don't have to worry about brushes failing and all that. Although I'll say brushless motors, they were a big thing when they came out about 10 years ago. I think now it's not such a big thing. It's more of a standard feature. But there's different types of quality with brushless motors. Yes, there's no brushes, so you don't have to replace any brushes, so the tool will effectively not wear out, which puts a lot of people off. But the electronics, how good are the electronics inside here? Are they good enough to last So in some cases, a lot of these brushless tools that are coming out, they're made so cheap that they don't last any longer than the brushed versions, which kind of defeats the object. Inside here we've got some of these. I think this is for changing a couple of bits and pieces over. We've got a side handle, which kind of just screws into the side, whichever way you want to put it on, something like that. There we go. We have got a stop lever. By the way, there's a stop button there. So when you want to put a new item on here, it locks the shaft. See, look, I can turn this shaft. But if I press the button on the other side, there we go, it's locked. So you can actually unscrew the first one. So if you've never done an angle grinder before, there we go, that was a bit stiff. There we go. You wind this off, and then you put whatever item you need in there. In fact, I'm going to get it. So I've got one of these cups, okay, and one of these wire brushes, and either of them will be good. And this is what I'm going to use this for. I mean, I'll use it for cutting. I'll use it for cutting, absolutely. I've got some of these down at the lockup. I've got some cutting discs down at the lockup. So I've got resources at home and at the lockup. That's what I've done when I started sorting out the garage stuff and what stuff I need to put down there. One, I don't keep any tools in the garage whatsoever. No tools, absolutely no tools, because it's Birmingham and people may not want to take my car, but if they see some nice tools like this, they'll take it. So I've just got a few resources down there and a couple of boxes, including angle grinder resources. These are very, very good. I bought these from Lidl's. These, both of them came from Lidl's, by the way, and they were cheap. So Lidl's in the middle aisle, look out for this sort of stuff because it's far cheaper than online. Now, obviously, I can't fit that into there because the disc shield is in the way. So in some cases, you may need to remove the shield. A lot of people generally do that. This shield is more for a cutting disc. I wouldn't worry too much about these, just don't put your hands near it. That is fatal, and it looks it. It's basically piano wire. But basically we're going to use this. I'm going to attach this to this grinder and just put it on. Now, I'm just gonna push the button. Now, obviously, because this is not a cutting disc, see, this one has got a little nut on the back side. That hasn't got a nut on it, so you don't need to use that. That is merely for a cutting disc or floppy disc, I believe. So if we just push the button, if I just, there we go, trying to twist it on. Yeah, that's tight. That's tight. Now, ironically, really, do we need that shield? Probably not, but I don't really want to get rid of it too hastily. But you can easily take the shield off by taking this nut off. What I love about these new tools is Draper, with their information, they have to provide, and this is a lot of things now, a lot of manufacturers by law now have to provide spare parts for these items. I think it was like a White Goods Act amendment that they did a couple of years ago, the government, and they actually forced manufacturers now to make sure that spare parts for a lot of white goods, tools, etc., are actually supplied for about 5 years from the start of manufacture. And that's what this is. This is a parts diagram for this grinder. So it's literally split down. And you've got all the parts numbers on the other side. So keep these. I mean, Draper has all this online. You can. This is all online. Even the user manual. It's all online. You know, you can. If I lost these, I could just go online and look it up. But it's useful to have these around just in case. And if it ever breaks down, I'm of the person that I could take that apart and have a look to see if there's anything obvious. But the truth be told, unless I'm an expert, I think I wouldn't be able to know what was wrong with it unless there was something certainly obvious that was broken or snapped. But basically, to make this go off, I'm not going to do this on camera because I'm not wearing eye protection. But basically, battery on the bottom, and you've got this trigger. Now you can't push this trigger down with your hand unless you move this. So you've got this here. So you have to move this up to push it in. It's a safety mechanism, and you just take your hand off and it will stop. Actually, what I'm going to do is I am actually going to just put some eye protection on, because it's just grinders and all that. And I'll actually start it up and I'll show you how quick it stops. Right, safety time. And these are Draper D20 ones as well. I like these because they've got like a foam on the outside, so it actually properly seals your eyes. I don't want to take any risks. This battery is fully charged. It's only a 2 amp hour battery. Now, excuse me guys, cover your eyes. Obviously I'm only joking, you know. Not bad at all. That stops within about 3 seconds. That feels very quiet actually, very controlled. And yeah, it stops within 3 seconds. And that is a marked improvement, I will tell you, particularly on this. Now, this is fat, it's bulky, and it's dangerous. I'm sorry, this thing is just dangerous. I honestly, I hate it. I hate this thing. I feel as if I'm going to like do some damage. I'm going to cut a finger off or something. It's just too powerful. I mean, the RPMs, I mean, this is the thing. This is corded grinders are great if you want something powerful for a job that requires it. On cars, a cordless grinder is more appropriate. Why? I consider, what does this work at? So this is a 7, so this is, by the way, this is a Black & Decker one, by the way. It's still on sale, you can buy these brand new. 710 watts, so quite, not very powerful, but 710 watts is okay. 12,000 RPM, 12,000 RPM, okay? That's too fast. That for me is just too much. It's too much, way too much. But I'll tell you what we can do. Let's see how quickly this actually stops when I release the trigger. Where's my where's my goggles? Connected, go. About 4 seconds it took there. Absolutely hate that thing. I'm just going to switch it off. Absolutely hate this thing. Hate it. It's just horrible. Feels like I'm out of control with it at any time. Now that's my point about this. This is 8,500 RPM. So this is effectively about a third slower than that. That's great, because that means I can control this. Now, on a lot of more expensive ones, now this doesn't have this. There is actually a variable control on the side. It's a shame that this grinder doesn't have this, but I suspect that more higher quality grinders are kind of, do have that sort of technology. I was looking at a Milwaukee M18 angle grinder, one that will be using my M18 battery that I use with my my impact gun. And since I do use the impact gun, but the battery is seldomly used, I wanted to get some more life, because those batteries are expensive from Milwaukee. And I was looking at Milwaukee's paddle grinder. It's a paddle grinder. It's got an electronic brake inside it. So literally, the moment you let go of the trigger, bam, stop. It is literally within a second, it stops. It's a proper electronic brake. And when you're cutting things and you let go of the trigger, sometimes you let go of the trigger because you've hit something, or I don't know, it's jammed against something and you need a quick release. It needs to stop straight. Often that doesn't happen. With that one, it goes on and on and on. I mean, 4 seconds, to be fair, isn't as bad. My old one used to go on longer than that. I had an ancient one which was downright dangerous. That's slightly better, but it's still, I don't like it. So if you're a car DIYist and you are looking for something that will cut, absolutely fine. This is powerful enough to cut. I've seen this in action. I know another YouTuber who's got one of these, and it's powerful enough to cut metal on a car because it's thin enough. Grinding, sanding, whatever you need it to do, it's powerful enough for the job. And you know, on a 4 amp hour battery, not one of these, this is 2 amp hours, it will last perfectly fine. It's much better in your hand. It's not fat, it goes nicer, it's a bit more thinner than the mains one. It's just brilliant. And this is where technology has gone, and I'm glad to sort of step into the last few years and actually go the way of a corded grinder, because I've been umming and ahhing and getting one. But the truth is about a grinder is that I haven't actually used an angle grinder very much, and I think you've noticed that on my channel so far. But I feel that that one, because I'm just downright scared of it, I don't use it apart from if I'm really in the cack and I need to cut something, which is why there's a disc on it. But with this angle grinder, I'm actually not going to use it specifically for cutting. I will use it for cutting because that one is in, well, it's not in the scrap heap. I will keep it as a backup because you never know. If I run out of if I'm at home and I run out of batteries for this and they're all charging and I need to get the job done, I will just go and get the mains one out. I'm not that scared of it that I won't use it, but it's just a backup. You know, at the end of the day, I wouldn't be able to get much for it if I tried to flog that on. Probably about 10 quid. So it's just, you know, keep it. But this will be my go-to tool, and at last I don't have to get the extension lead out. It will be used for wire brushing, so it might give my drill a bit of a break, particularly on the underside when you just want to go straight back to metal really quickly, and this will take it back, including this one as well, but I'll have to take the shield off. So I thought I would just do this little tool review of this fantastic little cordless angle grinder. Now I've got one. And I think in terms of automotive tools, I'm now pretty much cordless. The only thing that I have not got in terms of cordless tools is an SDS drill. A cordless one might be handy, but they're nowhere near as powerful as the mains ones. And my mains one up there, I got an absolute bargain for 50 quid. And to be fair, I haven't really used it. And on cars, you don't need to use them unless you're maybe using one. If you haven't got an air compressor, an air hammer to hammer, I don't know, a drive shaft through a hub, because they can get stuck in the hub where the splines go through. Instead of using that, use an SDS drill, it just bangs it straight out. It's the same technology, it's just electric. So there's the very few things that I would use it for. It's mainly a builder's tool, and it will come in useful because my dad wants to borrow it for a bit of brick destruction, put it that way. So all from us and my new tool and Draper D20 as usual. Take care, guys, and remember, if you're looking for something and it's on eBay and it's much cheaper than what you'd buy it for, maybe you should consider buying it there and then and just dealing with the financial cost, because sometimes you just won't be able to get things that cheap, and I know for a fact I wouldn't have been able to get this cheap. Anyway, you take care, guys. See you very soon.